Thank you very much, and good evening to the members of the board for this chance to share my thoughts with you on the future of New York State agriculture, and particularly at this moment in time, the absolutely central and fundamental role that this wage board plays in setting the direction of that future. I am New York State Senator Tom O'Mara. The Senate district which I represent includes expansive portions of New York's Finger Lakes and Southern Tier regions, including the counties of Steuben, Yate, Schuyler, Chemung, and Tompkins. I don't need to tell you that this district is home to a great many and varying types of farms that run the gamut of New York's outstanding agricultural industry. I'll get right to the point. I have been and I remain strongly opposed to the lowering of the farm worker overtime threshold from the current 60 hours per week. I have voiced this concern from the very start in 2019, when I debated against and opposed the enactment of this Farm Workers Fair Labor Practices Act, an act which, by the way, was drafted and introduced in the state Senate and Assembly by legislators representing the epicenter of farming in New York State, Queens, New York City. Over the past 2 years, you and all of us have heard directly from those who would be most directly impacted by any lowering of the threshold and the subsequent unsustainability consequences to farm labor costs that would result. We've heard a lot of that tonight. The fact of the matter is that farming is vastly different from other industries, with forces out of the control of the business owner, with overriding impacts of commodity markets and the weather, not to mention that many farms who provide housing, food, transportation, and more that other industries do not. From everything I have seen and heard from those in New York's nation-leading industry, it appears virtually unanimous that lowering the threshold would be a disaster. The ripple effect across local communities in every region of the state, especially in upstate regions like I represent throughout the Southern Tier and Finger Lakes, could be consequential and irreversible. It risks the future of high-quality local food production. The actions risk the loss of family farms and the loss of livelihoods these farms support across the industry and throughout hundreds of local economies. We heard from Cornell University, which is in my district, of their study on the impacts that this will have on farms. And we've heard from the farm workers themselves who worry about the risk of the loss of work for themselves. You risk negative consequential impacts to our orchard and vineyards, wine, fruit, cheese, and yogurt industries, to name just a few that we have worked so hard and long to foster. With my time being up, I just urge you firmly and strongly to please consider the consequences that can come to our farming industry in New York State. And thank you for the opportunity to be with you tonight.